This video is being shown to you under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowances is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, education, and research. Fair use is permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Smash that like button. Let's go.
What's up? What's up? What's up? It is your favorite breast cancer survivor, Survivor Speaks, back with a live video. So today, it's going to be a quick live. Just gonna have an update on the Naziyah Harris case, but in addition to the Naziyah Harris case, if you will. So, I don't know how many victims they are up to as of right now, as it relates to Jarvis Butts and the Naziyah Harris case, but it's all still disturbing, nonetheless, right? So, what's up, Allie? Thank you so much for being here. I don't even think I shared this out. Only, yes, I just, working in between things, decided to do a live video and update everyone. What's up for always? What's up? So we're going to talk about Naziyah Harris, just a small piece about the Diddy trial and what's going on. It's a total mess. So, some people may have celebrated too soon because there is a mess going on in the Diddy trial as well. We're going to cover a little bit of that. I just ask that, interaction in the chat is great. And I know that, you guys are awesome. I didn't get to share this out as I stated. I just came on. So we are going to do the Naziyah Harris case first, right? So there is an update. There is a new victim. So the suspect in the Naziyah Harris case was already facing charges, but I've learned that he's accused of, attacking another child. The shocking new allegation suggests that a pattern of predation and the evidence will leave you, sick to your stomach. So I'm going to get over here and bring this clip over. The victim is 12 years old, and this happened back in 2013. That's not it. Hold on a minute. Let me just get to it. All right. So I need to go back over here and okay. So I'm going to bring over. It's a small clip from CBS Detroit. We're watching this video under the Fair Use Act of 1976 for educational purposes, so that we can educate the community on what, to possibly look for in your community. So let me cue this up and bring this over. I'm going to do that. Just give me such a time. And it appears to be that this fool, Jarvis Butts, for this case only, for the new victim, that he will be trying to represent himself. Please and thank you. So we can just wrap it on up. But I think that there is, he may have a strategy as to why he's deciding to represent himself. And I think that it does, it is to intimidate the witnesses, to possibly, not tell this story once they are on the stand. So I'm hoping just my thought, these if the child was 12 in 2013, we're in 2025, right? So it still, to me, does not matter that the child is so it's been about 12 years. So the victim should be around 24. I think it's disgusting that the victim gets to question the person that they essayed. Given Jarvis Butt's history, like I said, he's been on the essay registry list, and he's been a known PDF since 2005. Now, he was essayed by an older woman that he had a child with at a very young age. Still doesn't give him the right to take what happened to him and to push it off on other people. He has to know that what he is doing is wrong. If he did not know that it was wrong, he would not be trying to cover it up. It wouldn't be a secret. It wouldn't be any of that if he did not think that what he is doing is wrong. If you thought what you were doing is right, you would just come on out and do what you do out in the open. But the fact that you're trying to hide stuff, trying to stay below the radar, but I believe that Jarvis Butt's deception and his essaying of children is not isolated to where he lived. So he targeted women with low self-esteem to get close to their children. So mainly women with young female children. He kind of like targeted them, played on their insecurities and got close to the child, or he had a child with a woman and started essaying the child. It's pretty sick. So in these cases, I do think that there should be a law where they are not allowed to represent themselves and question a victim. So exactly, Al, he's re-victimizing the victims. And even though he, I'm sure part of his argument is that he was essayed as a child, you still know that it was wrong. Like I said, you wouldn't have. So if in 2005 he was put on the PDF registry, this is also another point. He was already charged and added to the PDF list about the year of 2013. So you definitely knew that it was wrong at that time because you were already charged with it in a court of law. So I just think that it is disgusting that he gets to re-victimize any victim. But as it relates to the Naziyah Harris case, I don't think that he is representing himself, in such, a big case. But anyway, let's see what they said, what they were saying, CBS News Detroit about the monster, I guess that's what you could call him, because it's a mess. It is a mess. Okay, here it is. I'm like, where is it? I'm here. Where? Yes, I've seen that for always. I have seen that, especially the teacher where she was in a field like doing like a TikTok, and I'm wondering if I'm not going to blame this on a TikTok era. I'm not understanding. And then the one teacher, when they came to arrest her, her husband was trying to like make it go away. Yeah, it has been an influx of these cases, but you know what? I just believe that social media has opened up and put on Front Street, like, these types of crimes. And, you have everybody that is in the social media space, teachers, students, churches, everybody is on the social media space. So it's easier, for a child to say, oh, hey, this is what's going on. In New Jersey, there was a teacher, older, and the child that she essayed has started having behavioral issues, but the child was on the spectrum, and he just knew that it wasn't right what was happening to him. He was high functioning. She started bribing the kid, and she started harassing him. And so his parents noticed the change, looked into it, and then he somehow told them. When they went to get this teacher to arrest her, so first they brought her in for questioning. She lied about everything. So they came back to arrest her. She saw them coming, broke her cell phone, and they, started asking her questions. She's like, oh, I'm the caregiver for my mother. And, I was just about to give her medicine. And they were like, do you have a cell phone? She was like, oh, it just broke. Not knowing that they don't really need the cell phone to get the information off of it. All they need is a number. And they can get whatever you have that's in the cloud. But if it's not in the cloud, but more than likely, a lot of people save everything in their cloud. So they can retrieve the information from the cloud. But she broke her phone. Like, it was just crazy. Like, they rolled up, she broke it. But she said she had broke it a couple days ago. Ran over it with my car, dropped, and it broke. It was crazy how she tried to get them. Oh, I'm sick, I'm this, I'm that. No, you're going to jail. And so she's like, oh, Mom, and she's like, wait a minute. The mother is elderly and like, is she going to be able to get an attorney? It was just disgusting how she tried to use her mother as a means not to go to jail. But the husband also was like, they were like, well, he's here with the husband. Yeah, I mean, your husband is here with your mother. She's like, but I'm the caretaker. But did you care about this kid that you possibly ruined his life? So, yeah, they can get the records from the phone company and, any digital text messages or pictures that they need, they can get from the cloud. Like, so it's just pointless for you to go through all of that for nothing. So, but this is the world that we live in today. So let me just turn this down just a little bit and let's just take a look at this brief clip. Once again being shared under the Fair Use Act of 1976 for educational purposes.
With the death and assault of 13-year-old Naziyah Harris is now facing new charges in a separate case. Travis Butts is accused of sexually assaulting a 12-year-old girl back in 2013. Prosecutors say it happened at a home in Pelham Park. He's being charged with criminal sexual conduct in that case. He's due back in court over this charge next week. Last year, Butts was charged with murder, criminal sexual conduct, and child sexually abusive activity in connection with Naziyah's death. She was last seen getting off a Detroit school bus in January of 2024. Since then, her body has not been found. The case is heading to trial this fall, with jury selection expected to start on October 6th.
So, yeah, it sounded like it was going in and out, but I know I should have restarted my computer. Whenever I don't, that's what happens. So there you have it. So jury selection for Naziyah Harris is still starting on October the 6th. And for this case, I will keep my eyes and ears open to see when there are any when there are updates on this case as well as the Naziyah Harris case. Like, so as far as Naziyah Harris's case goes, I believe that they pretty much have that what they need, but and they have more victims that are coming forward. This is just a case that was just added. So I only like to report on Naziyah when there's something new. There's a bunch of content creators that consistently report on different things, but I just report on what's new. So unless we going back over something. So now in the case of the P. Diddy trial, which is a disaster, I'm not sure if the people that were applauding Diddy did so prematurely. So all I can tell you is that Inner City Press on X has been reporting, trying to see if I can bring up his feed. He has been reporting about the juror that is doing a tour on YouTube, going to all of these different stations, or and what's going on with my hold on, you so the juror he's an alternate juror. He started going on what do you call it, a YouTube tour, and there have been some disturbing yes, they came out yesterday for Always. It's just been a lot. So from here we have to wait 2 weeks. He said possibly they will approve it in 1 week. So I had 2 people come out yesterday. Well, the insurance company sent out a contractor to take a look and estimate what they think it will cost to fix. They sent a professional tarping company to come out and tarp, put up a tarp, because the structure is detached. So the tree hit on probably this way, but the structure on this wall is, started detached, and one of the main beams that hold up the house in that room fell, and it's just that they couldn't remove. So when they removed the tree, they couldn't remove that. So it's just sitting in the middle of the room. And once again, I'm not supposed to be here, but I am. It just, like I said, the tree hit in my bedroom. So that's off limits. But as far as the rest of the house, it's doing what it does. But it's supposed to be 2 weeks, but he said the insurance company moves pretty quick, so maybe 1 week. So we're just gonna wait on it. I guess that's all that I can do. All right, so this is just 2 hours ago. Inner City Press. Shout out to Inner City Press. If you had a thank you so much for Always. Like for the most part, most of the day, not here. It's depressing and all the above. So I've been like kind of like drained this weekend. So, but thank you so much for that. So yeah, so I heard Diddy's team paid out a bunch of content creators. I don't know how true it is, but I heard like 6 figures. So that is the rumor. So I do know that, they had a campaign where they were paying people $20 an hour to wear the free puffy shirts, right? There's also been a storm of lawsuits. One guy in particular, his name is Clayton. I listened to like part of a interview that he did, and what stuck out to me was, I understand like Cassie received a large settlement from Diddy, rightfully so, and all the people that want to call Cassie, out of her name, garden tool, she wanted it, she was manipulative, all of that. People do not understand the grooming process. If you go and look at the video where Cassie was being signed to Bad Boy, you can basically see how young she is, sitting in a room full of powerful music executives. At the time, she was dating Ryan Leslie, and you can just see that she does not know, she does not know anything. Cassie didn't even come to New York to make music. Cassie came to New York because she was a model. She was interested in acting. But I guess her mother heard her singing around the house. And so her mother said it would be cool if you could get someone to record you singing. And so she, she was dating Ryan Leslie at the time. And she told him that, and they went to the studio, and she made they made Just Me and You, Me and You, whatever the name of the song is. That's the only song I know of hers. Anything after that, I don't know it. I've never heard it. They did. He was already in the music business, working with Tommy Mottola, and this is per Ryan Leslie. This is what he said. He was working in the studio. He was already in the music business, and he was in a meeting at Tommy Mottola's office. Cassie called him and was like, "Hey, I need the tape to send to my mother. I'm going to go and mail it off now." So he told her where she was. And when she walked in, Tommy Mottola, he said, was just struck by her beauty and was like, "Oh, well, hey, what are you doing here? Like, who is she?" And he explained, "Oh, we recorded something for her mother." And so she came to get the tape to send to her mother. And he said, "You have a tape?" And he said, "Yes." And he told him to play tape, disc, whatever it was, video, whichever it was. And he said to let him hear it. And he played it. And Tommy Mottola on the spot said, I'm going to sign you." That's how that happened. Just like that. Just because, like, Cassie is a beautiful, young woman. So just like that, that's how that happened. And so she was signed, managed and signed to Ryan Leslie, but under Tommy Mottola. I forgot what the name of the record label is right now. And then somehow they, Puffy heard her song in the club, and he kept asking people, "Well, who is this girl that's on this track?" And yeah, he worked his magic, and that's and then the rest is, yeah. I think it's pretty disturbing. It gives a clear look into how society thinks. I think that, they made a mistake by not sequestering this jury. All people were in. There's a whole lot of stuff that happened in this case. So there is a content creator that was at the trial and said that one of the marshals caught one of the bigger, she didn't say which news station it was, where they were from, but they caught them bringing in a cell phone into the court. And they told them they're going to have to leave. And the person apologized over and over and over again. And so the marshal said, if it happens again, you're going to be banned. And so her thing was, if it was anybody else, she said she wondered if they would have given them that chance. So people got bits and pieces of what was going on at the trial based on where they were at the time. She just happened to be there, but she didn't say which news station it was, but she just said it was a larger news station. So somebody had put in the comments, if they got away with this is probably not their first time, and they got away with it before, so this is why they're probably trying to get away with it. I think that they should have been thrown out. The judge should have been made aware. This whole trial is starting to, crumble, and I am interested to see whether or not Judge Romanian is going to overturn this verdict, because that's what people are calling for him to do. I will get to that in a minute. Give me 1 second and we will tell you why. So there is a juror who was an alternate, turned out to be an alternate juror that is going across the internet doing interviews. So if you remember, after they read the verdict, the judge told them not to do any interviews about what happened, but he did say about what happened in deliberations. I thought that's what it was. So but this particular juror was an alternate. So he did CNN first, and then he did News Nation. And so Inner City Press has, he was the one that was keeping everybody up to date on Twitter about, play by play of what was going on in the courtroom. He was the one that was typing out, what was being heard from the stand, or what was going on, even if they weren't on the stand and it was no jurors in the room. So, this particular juror basically on Yes for Always, not only did he seem a little weird, it's going to be interesting to see, because I know that Judge Romanian is very I know that he has been very, he's a fair judge, but he's not playing any games. Diddy has yet another lawsuit going on from a man. It's pretty disturbing. So today is the 8th. Okay. All right. So here it is. Let me just bring it over. Yeah. So the same, we're talking about the same person. So this is from Inner City Press. He actually did this yesterday. So he actually was up yesterday and he put this up. So I'm going to bring this over. So this is the same juror you're talking about, Ali, I can guarantee you. It's only one. I believe one of the other jurors said something, but they did not go on a tour like this guy. So under investigation is understatement. Like this because of this, and I know there was another content creator that said they can't overturn this. No, it is one of the reasons why the judge can overturn this sentence. Because basically what he's saying is that so when you're on a jury, you're not supposed to talk to each other. The judge said this, I don't know how many times, every time it was time to release these jurors for lunch, adjourn for the day, whatever. There is no talking amongst each other about this case. It is not time for deliberations. So the jurors should not be talking amongst themselves about this case so that nobody is, so nobody is, persuading another juror about how they should think about what they're thinking and about anything, and they don't even have the law that they should be following in order for them to come up with a verdict. You don't have the law, you don't have directions from the judge, you don't have anything, and as of right now, you should not be speculating about what is what. This guy during this interview was clearly talking about speculation. And then there is a case where he may have lied about his employment, and the inner city press, they emailed the UN to find out exactly what his position is at the UN. He's supposed to be some type of employee at the UN. So inner city press already has something going back and forth with the UN. And so he emailed them because they want to know exactly what is his job at the UN. What is it? So if you see here, inner city press says in U.S. versus Combs, the judge told the jurors and alternates at every break, don't speak with each other about the case. UN alternate George, who did not deliberate, he didn't deliberate. Keyword. And they also stated that the judge did not tell these jurors who were the jurors going in to deliberate, or who was going to be the alternates until the very end. So that's what makes a lot of what he's saying, especially on the Nation Now interview, that's what makes that so bad. And you can tell that the interviewer knew that he had already said something wrong, so she asked him a question, but she kind of like tried to warn him before he answered it, and the way he answered it was all wrong. And by the way, I know the CC that you said shocked with his attitude towards Cassie. Yeah, I mean, because he's always talking about God, this and that, and all this other stuff, and I just who's the I'm not really sure about who the content creators are that allegedly were paid. I do know that there were people that people reached out to people that were against Diddy to try to sway them to be on the Diddy side. So Tisa even said that the defense team was getting the transcripts day by day and giving them to the PR people, and they were approaching people to give them free transcripts, and Tisa tells them no. I don't think that that would be wise for me to accept anything from you. And I'm covering this case. So, they kind of went at the teaser a couple different ways, but, the last day that she was there was just disgusting. She hasn't said anything, but hopefully she wrote the judge a letter. Because the way they attempted to attack her and what they're saying is nonsense. It's foolish to even think that somebody like me can report on something and be the cause of them starting a whole federal case. It doesn't make sense. You make it make sense. You had the people shouting, "Oh, you're the reason why they took this case and started this case," and blah, blah, blah. This has nothing to do with her. Nothing to do with her. Nothing. And I don't know if you saw the Gene Deal interview. Gene Deal went off on Whack, on Lucci. Oh my goodness. I'm like Gene Deal. Like I've seen Gene Deal pops his stuff, but not in the way that I saw him on his channel and the way he went off on Lucci. And then you guys have him talking about stuff that he wasn't going to talk about. What he talked about is a mouthful, but now y'all taking him to a whole nother level. He done put Whack's whole card out here. Listen, you out here, and I couldn't believe he kept saying, I said, gee, he kept saying, how Whack is always saying on par. I ain't gonna say it. I'm not trying to disrespect nobody's stuff. Don't come after me with that mess. But he kept saying, saying what he was saying, and on par. Yeah, like basically he's like, you know what, Whack, what are you talking about? I never worked for you. Whack allegedly went out here and said that Gene Deal worked for him, working the door. He told Gene Deal, said, Whack, you wouldn't be able to afford me. You couldn't afford me. I would never work a door for you. Are you crazy? So he was like, you make all the guys in Cali look bad because you're a liar. But the thing for me with Whack is you got all this smoke for a 25-year-old woman, Krishan, but you will never answer the call when Jay Diggs comes to Cali and drops his location for you to be him. So, like, all these people out here that's following this guy and thinking that, it is what it is for me, and I've already said it a long time ago, until he can answer Jay Diggs, he's nothing to me. But you was getting ready to run up on this 25-year-old the other night, and it would not be the first time that you ran up on her in her face, screaming and hollering, spitting saliva everywhere. But you don't have the same smoke for these men that pull up and want you to come outside. You a ghost. You gotta look. Let me tell you something. Like, AOBD is right here. What AOBD said, I'm not gonna say it. But G Deal kept saying he was killing Whack on purpose. He's like, let me tell you what happened. He was like, he said that the cripples, y'all put it together because I ain't trying to talk that on here, but the cripples had Whack wife at the time surrounding her. He said that they was dancing on her, humping on her. They started, doing a cripple walk on it. He said it was crazy. You got to watch that interview with not the interview. He's on his channel. So you got to watch that video that he put up. It says Gene Deal goes off or something like that, but it's on his channel. You has to be sitting there with your mouth open. And what I didn't know, I already heard about Wolf, but I didn't know about Little Wolf. You got to watch that interview because Gene Deal dropped some stuff in that video, and he dropped some other tea, and I just was like, this MFer. I hope they do overturn this nonsense. But let's get into what this alternate juror that wasn't in the jury room during deliberations, how he done messed up. So it says that in U.S. versus Combs, the judge told the jurors and alternates at every break, don't speak with each other about the case. You and alternate George, who did not deliberate, told CNN unanimously. So if this is CNN, then he went on News Nation and told News Nation something else to wax with. He's got videos on every controversial thing we know of, but somehow we've never seen one. Even the time that he said that he served is false. Somebody, I'm not getting ready to go pull the work because somebody already read his work, and his work, what he said is not true. So, did she change her name, or it's a video on Hennessy Reviews? She was pulling his whole card, and she had all this paperwork, reading everything, and the reason why, the reason that that is it's true, because she was doing a collab with somebody else, another YouTuber. It wasn't, and this was a while ago, way before Diddy even went to trial, way before he was even way before. And so somebody went on Clubhouse, he was on that Clubhouse page heavy, and was like, do you know Hennessy Reviews? And he was like, oh no, I don't know her. And they was like, well, she pulled your work. And he was like, what? She pulled your work. They was reading your work, your paperwork, over there on her channel. So basically, you did not do the time that you said you did behind bars. And not only that, he's an informant. And so he was like, well, where's she from? Y'all know where she from? And somebody was like, well, I think she's from New York. He was like, damn, niece. She was cracking up because they was replaying this. The guy that she collabed with was replaying this, the Clubhouse audio on her page. And so when he said, damn, niece, she was like, did he call me his niece? And she was laughing. And she just was like, hey, I'm gonna do a little digging as long as you keep. So she's a big Krishan supporter. As long as you keep messing with Krishan, I'm gonna pull your work. And she read all his paperwork, and he only really did a little bit of time in juvie. And then when from juvie they moved him to this he turned 18, so they moved him from juvie to some type of adult camp. It was a camp. He was not there that long. He got released. He got rearrested, but he still wasn't there that long. He got released. So all the time that he said that he did is false. It's a lie. And she pulled the work and read from the work that she got from the court files. That's the whole thing. Is just like he always talking about, he got somebody work. Your work could be pulled too. So there we go with that. So you and alternate George, who did not deliberate Toasty, and then unanimously we all said, he also said UN OCT does not work with U.S. law enforcement, and that is a lie. So let's see if let me play this, and he's showing. It's a quick video, 13 seconds. Come on, let's go back. It'll go around again. So he's basically have to.
That, I think unanimously we kind of all said wow, it was.
So he wrote on top what he said. Unanimously, we all said, how did y'all unanimously say anything when you should not have been talking about the case at all? How can you guys have, unanimously said anything? Until the jury got that case, they weren't supposed to be talking about it at all. So this is grounds for the judge to overturn. What did I do? This is grounds for the judge to overturn. Oh, so these are just comments. So these are grounds for the judge to overturn the verdict, and Diddy would have to go. They would have to have a whole new trial. He also said, look at this. They say he kind of looked like this guy. What was this, Full Metal Jacket, y'all? I think that's the guy from Full Metal Jacket. And when he right here with this the little thing right there. Let me get that out the camera. This is YouTube. Yes. So another juror came forward, and they are upset, saying that how did the public say they didn't do their job or something like that. They all wanted to go home and were scared of Diddy. This case deserves and warrants a mistrial. So what he did say, this juror here, what he did also say was that when they asked him a question, he's like, oh, well, we all basically was just like waiting for it to end. How do you know what you guys all were doing? They're not supposed to discuss the trial in any way. So when did y'all have this discussion about wanting this to end? And that, let me see if I can find the interview. So that was, what's the name from News Nation? I didn't even check. Child, was that our girl from News Nation that got this interview? I don't think it was her, because it didn't sound like her when I was listening to it. Hold on a minute. Let me see. Let me see. Because he is a whole mess. He is a whole mess. He done, child. Let me see here. Did he? So, okay. So on this one, so wait, so here's Ashley Banfield, right? Well, I didn't think that Ashley Banfield interviewed him.
What do you think of October? Because that month used to be a lucky with Sean Holmes. His #1 album, October 2006, is Revolt. That was there once did on his life. Oh no, this October.
I'm trying to see if she interviewed him or she's watching.
And they
review needed for the review. I agree with the verdict.
Okay, so yeah, she.
So with
I did agree with the verdict. Through the whole thing, I took, I think, 350 single pads worth of notes. Then but I think it's
Okay, so Ashley Banfield, she is the one that interviewed him. So hold on, I'm trying.
before witness 12 of his colleagues were choosing his fate. Welcome to the show. Boy, we're wanted to talk to you. I'm really thankful that you're visiting for your service. I'm sure
Okay, so let's so here is Here is the guys. So it was
You didn't
actually
do that, and you did your civic duty. And I know you're smiling, but I'm really pious about this stuff. I think it's really important. So with that all said, did you agree with the verdict?
I did. I did agree with the verdict. You know, through the whole thing, I took a lot of notes. I think 350 pages worth of notes, about 3 steno pads worth of notes. I wasn't actually the one that took the most notes. There was others that actually took more notes than I did. I think 4 steno pads. But I think if I was able to, given the chance to deliberate and review all my notes, review all the evidence, everything I needed to see, and also, most importantly, review the judge's charges, I would have eventually reached the same conclusion that the other the 12 jurors found.
How would he know that? Even if he first off, he said he took about 350 pages worth of notes, 3 pads. He think that he took the most notes, and out of everybody, but he does think that, you know, some other people took more notes than him. Very contradictory. He is kind of like weird. He gives me that. He look, and you know, I hate to stereotype, but he does come off looking as like the PDF type. That I'm just I'm just looking at what I'm just looking at it. And the thing that got me was, listen, this is what got me. This is what got me about what he said. This guy said that he walked home and back to court. He walked. So we already know you got all of Diddy's people in the courtroom. If he's walking, child.
And of course, there you were. The 12 went off into the room, and you didn't get to be the fly on the wall in the room. But did you all have the same sense? I know you weren't allowed to talk about the facts of the case, but you were with these people for, what, 7 weeks straight. Did you get the sense that everybody felt the same way all the way along, or was it poker face, you couldn't tell?
You know, it was, I think, in a sense, we were just all hoping, we were just kind of waiting for it to end. You know, every day, I think it was just because there was so much evidence and so much testimony, and it was 7 weeks of witness after witness after witness after witness. So I think we were hoping for it to come all together. We were really waiting for the judge to give us his instructions to know, you know, what the definitions are, what we're actually looking to do. So I think we.
So they're not. They were. They didn't want. For always. He gives me very creepy vibes. He should know what everybody was waiting for. Like, he should not know. You just cannot, discuss the case at all. So I'm pretty sure that if he is under investigation, they're claiming that he is under investigation. I haven't seen anything. I'm pretty sure that Intercity has already emailed Judge Subramanian. I know that he's already emailed the UN to see what his job title is, or if he works there. But Intercity, they're saying that he was saying that he thinks that this guy was fired from there. So I do know that Tisa has followed up and sent an email to the UN. At the time that I saw her last live, she said she has sent the email about, it was 2 hours after that. Nobody had responded as of yet. So I'm sure that the judge is going to look into this. So there is a strong possibility that this case the verdict can be overturned, and they will have to do it all over again. So this is the one reason why the judge can overturn this verdict. I'm not sure what, some other content creators were reading. But the judge, this is one reason why the judge can overturn this verdict, because this guy was not part of deliberations. And so how do you have information that you can sit on in this interview in front of the and Ashley Banfield is good. I remember the other day I was trying to say I watched and I got bashed Banfield, but they for always told me that, because I couldn't remember her name. So I do subscribe to her, and go follow her, because she does some pretty good journalistic work. And in this case, she just told him, before you answer this question, I'm telling you, I know you guys, I know that you weren't in the jury room, but I'm going to ask you this question. And he flunked. So I'm sure that the judge will look at this case, and I'm sure that the $10 million legal team is going to be up in arms. But something stinks about this whole entire thing. So what I do know is that they were paying people $20 an hour to wear the free Diddy shirts. Like I said, they panned and showed the people that took the job. Most of them were homeless, laying on the ground. It was crazy, because there was another person that was out there, not part of the comic relief crew over here, wearing the free Diddy shirts. And she started talking like, yeah, they were trying to get me to wear this shirt, talking about they'll pay me $20 an hour. She's like, the lady told me that she made $60 yesterday. And then, the day of, I want to say, was it before the verdict or right after the verdict, where Lucci was handing out shirts that said, a Frico is not a Rico. Some people were just taking the shirts. Some people put the shirts on. And so then you have people that, if you were watching, there's a show, I forgot the name of this YouTube channel, but this guy, he just was there to stand outside and get all of the footage from all different angles. And he just played the footage from the time he was recording, from the time he got there until he decided to leave. And so you did see some people that was against Diddy, that was pro Diddy at the end. And I'm not sure if those are people that they kind of like got to. One guy, it kind of like he never really said, and then he just hopped on the side of Diddy. So I'm not sure if what they're saying is true. I don't have any proof about that, but that's what they are claiming, that there were, content creators that was at the trial that possibly, I don't even want to repeat it, because if that's the case, you know how that goes. And, it's really, really sad. That's going to be, you had some content creators that were really, really reporting on this thing for real. They were there to, get the content so that they can, talk about it on their channels. And then you had some people that went out there and they just kind of like flipped out. Some people made Tisa Tell their main content only because, and if you watch a lot of these different videos, but the guy that got the footage, that was just there getting the footage from the daytime to the nighttime, he never was in the camera. He never said he was simply there to catch the content that was going on outside. And he caught a lot of content, especially when there was controversy, people arguing and stuff like that. And so he caught, a lot of these content creators, like, talking about Tisa. And mainly their argument was surrounded around the donations and the super chats and everything that she got. To this day, her supporters are still requesting that she come out, and they're still supporting her. You cannot turn her support off. It has nothing to do with, the verdict or anything. She just took a stance to stand with the victims. And that was her stance on things. The same way for myself, I stand with the victims, but I'm very empathetic to his twins and Chance. And to some degree, I have a little bit of, sympathy for the boys, because they had to, he had to raise them the way he raised them. But I really feel for the girls. And I don't know if you guys saw that the girls are not going to college, and they are coming out with a hoodie line. So, some people have reported on that already, saying that they're coming out with this hoodie line. It's just, they're trying to just help, Diddy. So when he gets out, he's going to be behind the scenes, but of course he's going to be in front of all that. So as it relates to the man that is suing Cassie, this is the thing for me, right? I'm looking for people in, whatever statements that you're putting out there. Whatever you're putting out there, I'm going to listen to it, and I'm going to draw my own conclusion. So the first thing I want to know is that if you're saying that Cassie was pregnant by you and she had a termination, how do you know that? How do you know that? See, because when it came to those paid male workers, Cassie can only do what Diddy allowed and told her to do. She couldn't, there was no, you were friends with her and all this, that, and there was none of that. So I don't think that Cassie's going to be telling you when she's basically, it could have been you and two other guys in one night plus Diddy. Or however this goes, sir. So how do you have concrete evidence that you impregnated her and she had a termination? Who told you that? Did Cassie tell you that? When what they did not really say in this trial, I think they mentioned it maybe one time, that, this guy, not only did he have, and I'm trying to, why didn't the feds hone in on that? Because they said that he also, kept the stock of Plan Bs. So that's because you really didn't allow them to use protection. And if something happened, we're just going to take the Plan B and it'll resolve itself. But I don't think that if something like that would have happened, that Diddy or Cassie would have told this man. Not to mention, you out here slinging it with no protection. What you got, who's to say that you got it from her? He wasn't calling you like that, where you only was doing these freak offs with Cassie, and it does not make sense. So there is already holes to be poked in his story. And do I think that Cassie asked him to urinate in her mouth? No, I think that came at the direction of Diddy. And she stated that the first time it happened, she didn't even know about it. She had no knowledge that it was coming. And so what she said was that the urine, her mouth was full of urine. It got in her mouth. She was trying to give off a signal that she didn't like it. Nowhere did she say that Diddy told them to urinate in her mouth. He told them to urinate on her. He didn't say in the mouth. So this guy that's coming out with this lawsuit, It is just a bunch of things, you know, a bunch of holes that could be poked in his story, you know, from the get-go, because it's just like certain questions that he would have to answer. Not to mention, they said the paperwork is not even filed correctly. And so I just think that, you know, I'm going to refuse to bash her. Yeah, everybody already knows my stance over here. If you've been watching over here, how I feel about Jane, I'm very conflicted when it comes to Jane. Jane signed up for this. Jane hit Diddy first. Even though he got her back, and that's where he should have walked away and left. That's exactly the same way. You know, Diddy's team is saying that they could have walked away and they could have left. That's the same thing when it comes to Jane. He could have walked away and he could have left the night that she put her hands on him. But she did leave. You already got your lick back. She left and you waited around. So that's when it becomes like a domestic thing with him and Jane, because you got your lick back. She hit you. You got her back. She left though for 2 hours. You should have left. Because at that point, you already got your lick back. If you want to, if that's what they are, you know, want to go by, which I said also, unless Jane is lying, she said that he did not abuse her until the day that she hit him first. She smashed his head into the counter. So not only did she sign up for this life, you were the aggressor in this case, and you hit her. They've already said, and many of the security have already said, Cassie was not fighting Diddy. The day she fought back, Roger Bond said he was so happy because he said to himself, finally, she's standing up for herself, and finally she, you know, hit back. But when you go back to what Cassie said, the day that she did put her foot down and hit him back, the beating became worse. So she said, well, you know what? I'm not going to do that one again, because you know, the consequences are too great. Everything came at the direction of Diddy. This is why I'm so upset about why are they skipping that point? Cassie made that point. Everything that she was doing was under the direction of Diddy. Even like the stuff that it was under the direction of Diddy. Now Jane, on the other hand, Jane had, you know, did a freak off, you know, scheduled it, because, you know, I'm conflicted when it comes to Jane. I'm just going to keep saying, you know, I hate to say it, but I hope her child's father gets full custody of that child. Because not only did you go through this with this man, you were also at a different freak off without him, without his knowledge. And even though you said you didn't do anything, you flashed the whole room. That is no place for a child to be raising. You know, that's no place for a child to be raised. Like, you know, she's all about the mighty dollar. I foresee a lawsuit coming down the pike from Jane. I don't care what she said. You know, just doing a little research on her, she's a little money hungry. So there is such a stark difference between Jane and Cassie. Somebody's like, well, so what? He had a 10-album deal on her. She had a 10-album deal. She still could have left. You think? And when somebody is in a relationship where it's abusive, you don't need to put locks and stuff on the door. They have a mental lock on your brain. Your brain is trained. If I do this, more than likely, this is going to happen. His security is going to find me. They're going to bring him to where I am, or bring me back to him. And it's going to be all over for me. So I'm not understanding why people don't understand that. I'm not understanding why, when she said, everything was done at the direction of Diddy. And as she's, scheduling these things, if Diddy is not sitting right there with her, she's texting him. How do you think people think that they got the text messages? Because she's texting him. This person is available. He's like, oh, this guy ain't available. Like, people have to instead of just being out there listening to what people are saying, not even going over here to Inner City Press, who did a good job on X, putting this stuff up. Also, Jewel, P. Diddy updates on Twitter. She also, had a very, active chat, up to date, play by play about what's going on in the court, what the testimony is, and what the responses were. So they weren't even, willing to look at that. And then you have, his team that was out there handing out the transcripts for whatever reason. But I think it was something where they could come back and kind of like blackmail you, but could it really be blackmail? But people that are, that was doing this for real, they knew, like, what, I'm not taking that. Because, what's next? So, but all of these, people are just out here just talking. Oh, they can't do this because of this. So I'm just going to go with what we said, especially listening to this, thank God for him, for this alternate juror. Thank God for the screw up. Because I don't think that they knew, because what he said was Cassie's testimony was very credible. He said, and Jane, both their testimony was credible. He didn't think they was lying. He don't think that the other jurors thought that they was lying. But they just couldn't figure out how to fit it into the RICO. So in order for them, all they needed was one more predicate act in order to find him guilty of the RICO. But the fact that they didn't think it was a RICO, they didn't find him guilty of, the X trafficking. Like, so this whole thing reeks of, and I said it from the beginning. Y'all know I said it. This jury should have been sequestered. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. They should have been sequestered. And that would have, all of this leading up, everything leading up to all of this would be avoided. They wouldn't have to do any investigations and things like that, because the jury is sequestered, meaning that they have a federal agent, maybe 2, maybe 3 with them everywhere they go, to the room, to dinner, to lunch, everywhere they go, they have federal agents on them, so they will not be able to talk. So now this is the thing for me. There are other things that they could have charged Diddy with in this case, on the federal level, and they didn't. So I do agree and believe, and I said this before, that there's going to be another indictment that's going to be coming down from the feds. You can trust and believe before Diddy does his time and all of that, before there's going to be they're going to drop another indictment. Even though they brought up the Pow Pals in this case, they weren't a part of this case. They just showed them. He didn't get charged with those weapons. They can charge him and bring those weapons in, and automatically the fact that he defaced those weapons, that those weapons were found defaced with the serial number scratched off, is guaranteed time for that. Hefty time. You talking about AR-15s? Are they even like? I'm just saying. You have that. You have so many other things that they could have brought charges, on him for. And I just also believe that they made such a mockery of the court, and I'm talking about the people outside with the baby oil. All the jokes that they made about the baby oil, this, that, and the third. I don't think that, the federal government is too happy about that. And so y'all out there playing in their face, they're going to play in Diddy's. This is what they failed to realize. And this guy said, they asked him, do he think that things would have been different, or did they want to hear from Diddy? He said no, it wouldn't have made a difference whether Diddy said something or not. Whether he testified or not, it wouldn't have made a difference. It wouldn't have. There are so many things with this juror. He done opened his mouth, so then you got another juror that's coming out saying X, Y, and Z. Now, anybody can reach out and talk to these jurors. I know the judge said not to mention what happened in the deliberation room. Some people are saying he said don't do any interviews altogether. I'm trying to remember, but I thought that he said the deliberation room. He don't talk about what happened in the deliberation room. All I have to say is I'm not somebody that believes that Diddy is going to come home soon. And I think that, and I could be wrong. Like I said, it's up to the judge. He still can. They can ask for whatever little bit of time that they're asking for. The prosecutors, the government, the prosecution, they can ask for whatever time they're asking for. So what they're saying is that they are not asking for the full 20 years. And I thought that Comey said that they were going to be asking him for the max, which is 10 years on each count to run, consecutively. That's 20 years. If they run it concurrent, that's 10 years. I think the judge sent a strong message by not giving him a bail. But then I am going to trust Nancy Grace when she said that his charges, the charges that he was found guilty of, everybody's trying to downplay them. Like, oh, they're misdemeanor charges. But no, they were part of a federal case. So he is now a 2-time felon in, federal court. And it does not warrant the judge giving him a bail, an appeal bail. So they wanted to say they're going to appeal the case, appeal those verdicts, 2 verdicts, and they wanted to give him a bail based on appeal, the appeal that they want to put in. And she said that it doesn't warrant the appeal bail. Now, the appeal bail is something different than what, the sentencing. If they wanted him to be released on bail until his sentencing. So I think that that's the difference. But initially it was, based on an appeal that they were going to file, even though they don't know whether they're going to be granted an appeal or not. So, there's a lot going on as it relates to this case. I do not think that it is over. I think they have a lot more to charge him with. And Lil Rod has been doing interviews. He did an interview with academics, and basically he's saying that another indictment is coming down. So basically he's saying that he's the one that gave them the layout of Diddy's home. He sat with them for, was it 3 days or 3 hours? Maybe been 3 days. I forget what it was. But, and that he is like, one of the main reasons why they brought this suit. So, Gene Deal has information. He's never hid behind anything. And he said he only came to YouTube because he didn't know about YouTube. He said if he knew that YouTube was as easy as it is, he would have came to YouTube before 2018 because he's been speaking up before that. He said that Diddy, tried to have him clipped out of here, but the people was so against it. He didn't really finish. He started saying something about Diddy did something that almost cost him his pension and his job, and he had to fight to keep both. So there is a reason why, he's not going to stop doing what he's doing. And the fact that, him, beating on women, he doesn't like that either. But I do remember him having a conversation about another one of the security guards, I forget which one it is at the time, told him how, Diddy had smacked his mother. And he said, what? And y'all stood around and y'all watched and y'all allow him to get away with that? He would have never done that if I was there. He said he yelled at his mother one time and I was around. He said, and I yoked him up in his collar. He's like, and I told him, if I ever hear you talking like that to her again, it's going to be issues. I don't put that past Diddy. I don't. It just is what it is. So maybe the chef that we watched the other day in the video, maybe she'll be a part of the next case. To tell what happened or whatever. Because if they file a new case and the judge doesn't overturn these verdicts, Cassie and Jane cannot be a part of the next case. But if one of the witnesses introduce that, they can question that witness about that if they introduce it. And so that chef definitely would be somebody that would introduce Cassie into this equation about what she witnessed. She's not holding her tongue. So, yeah, Gene Dill was a parole officer, but he did say, I'm trying to remember now, was he on the Art of Dialogue or was he on another channel? I do know that in his last interview with the Art of Dialogue, he did give a statement at the end. Like, everybody was like, why is he always on the Art of Dialogue or whatever. So, he did interview on other platforms, but he said that him and the Art of Dialogue, everything that they did was the truth. The Art of Dialogue didn't cut anything out. He didn't, stop him from talking. And he said he didn't back down from any questions that he answered. This was a joint effort. He was able to, get out what he wanted to get out. And he just was saying, like, all of the, interviews and the sit downs that he did with the Art of Dialogue, everything in there was, true as, coming from him. And like, he didn't tell the Art of Dialogue that anything was off limits, that, that he couldn't ask him anything. And so he kind of like was saying like, okay, this is the end of the series with the Art of Dialogue. He's still going to be on YouTube doing his show. He told them, tell everybody what you want to tell them. So he promoted his book and everything else, told you how to get it or whatever, and you can catch him on his channel. So if he's on, I'm pretty sure that if something happens in this case, I'm pretty sure he's probably going to be on the Art of Dialogue again, based on this information that's coming out about this juror. But he left the Art of Dialogue on a heated note, because the Art of Dialogue said, check your phone, I just sent you a message. It's a sketch of when they was reading the verdict, and he said Diddy was on his knees. Yeah, that's normally where he is, on his knees. I said, Gene Dill. Gene! So Gene just was upset, and he just was not, holding anything back. And if, what he's saying is true, and you tried to comfort this man's pinch, and knowing that when he did security for you, he was on the up and up. He didn't allow you to do all the stuff that you was doing with these other security guards. Like he said, anybody that was a part of law enforcement, Diddy didn't pull that mess with them if they were working for him. But if these other security guards are street guys, they're from the street, so anything goes with them. And so he said that is the difference. But then, this guy's allegedly supposed to be an informant. He just pissed the wrong people off, and they said, "Pop, we're gonna let you go. You on your own, buddy." Which I don't think. I still think, it is what it is, and it's just you hired a $10 million legal team. It worked for you, and it worked against you, because the reason why you are still incarcerated is because your lead attorney on your $10 million legal team's mouth, and the things that he said from his mouth, and everything that this is the issue for Diddy as well. If the state decides to pick up any of these charges that he or his legal team already said that he was guilty of, how is he going to fight it? He can't. And Agnifilo made it a point to keep saying over and over and over again, he's not an ex-trafficker. He is, he has his faults. He is violent. He admits that. Now, if you had him here and one of his charges was domestic violence or violence against other people, yeah, we wouldn't even be going through a trial. He would just take a plea. So basically, whatever they could charge him with, because people have to remember, Jane's assault was in 2024. They're not going to look at the fact that she hit him first. They're going to look at the fact that she left for 2 hours after he got his lick back. She left for 2 hours. And when she returned, she was hoping that he had left. But no, he was still there, and he continued the whooping. So, I always said, my thing is, why is Diddy going so hard for bail now that he's waiting for sentencing? Most people get remanded if they are in custody once found guilty. So he's not getting a bail. Remember, they were trying to have a speedy sentencing. They were saying that October 3rd was too long. So they had put in a motion to have this done on September the 22nd. His sentencing on September the 22nd, which is only a couple weeks before October 3rd. What happened was, so they had that hearing, and when they got in the hearing, Diddy was not brought from the jail. The attorneys were not in court. They let people in the overflow room only. The judge didn't even come on. You had Diddy on he was dialed in. Mark Agnifilo was at his office, and he was dialed in. And this Slavic, from the government, was on. And basically what Agnifilo said was, you know what, I guess they thought about it, and they're going to leave the sentencing for October 3rd. So now they're going to do like the pre-sentencing investigation, and basically each side will present letters, his character references, all of this other stuff, his childhood, what he went through, what this, what that, so they can submit it to the judge so he can come up with for sentencing. Now they're claiming that the prosecutors for the government are only asking for 63 months. Yeah, they did it on Zoom. So, but they said, they're only asking for 63 months. The judge can say, I'm going to sentence him to the max that the law allows, 10 years on each count, to be served consecutively at a 20-year. That's 20 years. I'm not taking into account, he doesn't have to even, he can just tell them based on the evidence that he's looked at and what he saw. They cannot appeal that. As long as he doesn't go over the 20 years, even if they're not asking for the 20 years, which I heard Maureen, what I read was Maureen Comey saying that she was putting in for the max. Well, he'll have character references, of course. They're letters that's going to be submitted. But the thing is, probation does interview people as well. So I don't think it's just like you can just write something. The probation people might want to talk to you, to ask questions, to further clarify and verify that this is what it is. Of course, his children are going to write something about, they even, and I was so upset about this one. I did not like the fact that he tried to use Kim in this whole thing. So all my kids, they don't have a mother or a father. And I get it. Use whatever you have to use, but that was just so distasteful to me. Especially with the accusations that are out here. We don't know, whether they're true or not, but I did not know that her and Heavy D passed from the same type of pneumonia. Allegedly. It was pneumonia. That could be caused by this certain pill that could be given to them. And Gene Dill told us a story about Heavy D. He said he don't know what Heavy D had on him. He said, but he did not play with Heavy D. And if Heavy D heard anything, he said Heavy D would come in there, yank him up and bring him in the next room. And all you'll hear you'll hear Heavy D yelling at him. So, because it was a shock to all of us when Heavy just passed out of nowhere. Like, what the hell? So, I mean, it is what it is. But who would do that for Diddy? KK and D-Rock? I don't think that they want to do that. I don't think that they would want to put anything in writing, not knowing that, because I believe on the next case, to dot their T, to dot their I's and cross their T's, that KK and D-Rock and whoever else, Fahim, will be part of the case. I don't think they're going to do it because like people are acting like they don't understand that you can have, hold on, because this is about to go out, and you can have unindicted co-conspirators, and they're going to be charged on the next case. So I don't think that they'll do it again, like without them being listed as a co-conspirators and them being on trial at the same time. So it's just, everybody and their grandmother has questions about KK, and more so than Z-Rock. And where was KK? Like that is what people are, want to know. Like, that was the one thing that this freaking juror jumped out and said. Oh yeah, KK and D-Rock. They heard about KK and D-Rock so much, he didn't even mention Fahim. So I've done character references for leniency, and the judge could care less. The bottom line is, it is a formality, right? It is a formality. But in any case, the judge has all of the evidence that was suppressed and not made known to the jury. He does not have to say, well, I went through all the evidence and I included this, that, and that. I think he sent a very clear and strong message by actually telling his attorneys, you are the one that said, basically he called it full-throated. I was going to say that, I don't like the way that sounds. With force, that he's violent. He's not guilty of this, but if he was here for violence or domestic violence, he wouldn't even be sitting here. You said that with force. You already confirmed that. And what was Diddy doing while he was saying that? Shaking his head and nodding like the judge told him not to do. I don't understand why you wasn't thinking And the fact that he was found guilty of those true charges against Cassie and Jane, he was already tampering with witnesses. So Jane was one of the people that he was trying to convince that she wanted the freak off. Say you want it. She was like, no, I didn't want all of them. And that he kept trying to talk over her. And she like, I want it sometime, but I didn't want at a point. I didn't want to. Yeah. So Agnifilo is the one that came out here all with his chest beefed up and all of the other inappropriate things that he said during his closing, about, Cassie, or what have you. And you know what gets me also is that I heard somebody saying, oh, Cassie decided to go with the broke trainer. Alex Fine was not broke. He didn't only train Cassie, he was a celebrity fitness trainer. He also has a company where, it's a nonprofit, but he does have a company. And, those companies do very well, especially for the services that he offers for girls that don't have, the parents don't have money to give them, to make a big deal about birthdays and stuff like that. He has a company where he goes and puts all the, stuff together for, children. He even has people that will come, like, just to make it a big thing for these girls. So it's really, a nice thing that he's doing. But of course, with every nonprofit, there is profit because you have to pay yourself. So that is just what it is. Do I believe that he is broke? He wasn't broke. He might not have been as wealthy as, Diddy is, or as wealthy as he became. But I think that he's way more wealthier than Diddy based on his character. And because his mother went through something similar to what Cassie went through, and there were so many. Doctor came to my mother's house and she was watching her trial, and she just was like, yeah, she's into church and she's a Christian and all this, that, and the third. And she's like, I just don't understand how that man married Cassie. I said, you are Christian from the church? Oh, yeah. Okay, that's the problem. That's part of the problem. He knows what he knows. He knew before. So, but I just think that, sometimes Christians just make it bad for everybody. Alex had money and his family did too. Yeah. And I just think that, everybody out here, trying to judge this girl and not trying to think about a 19-year-old that is, still frontal lobe is still being developed. You got people that are 40 and 50 years old. It seems like their frontal lobe is still being developed. Look at Jane, was 30-something years old. But we know what part of her issue is. She is a gold digger. There is no other way around it. I said that. And it's just based on what I saw, in her history. That's what it is. But, and on the other hand, Cassie is just something that's totally different. And I just can't understand, like, all of these so-called men out here that have daughters, that may be Cassie's age or younger. I can't see that you can see this any other way. So what? He spent money on her. That was part of the manipulation. It was part of the manipulation. I challenge anybody to go back and look at the videos from the times when she said that she was abused and on the red carpet. And when you open your eyes, clearly now, knowing what you know, you can clearly see. I said, well, damn, I done seen this over and over and over again, and I never paid attention to that. Some of in some of the pictures, the makeup didn't do a well enough job or started to rub off. You can actually see the bruises on her face, especially when she was at that premiere where she had on the gold and black dress. Look at the video again and look at Cassie's face, and you will see bruising. We wasn't looking for that before. You give them a once over. Oh, that's a nice dress. Oh, whatever. We weren't looking for the other things. Go back and look. Just look. You don't even have to look hard. Now, knowing what you know, you will see the bruising. It comes through. I'm like, man, how do we like miss that? But the video about her, when they asked her, did she have any secrets that she wanted to tell, and did it look like he saw a ghost? That all went with the theme of the night of that Met Gala. That went with the theme. It wasn't something like, oh, we heard, or they say that you are whooping her. That wasn't it. It was a theme that went along with, the whole, when they have the Met Gala, they send out what the theme for the year is, and then people dress up accordingly. And so that's what that question was about. But he looked like he saw a ghost, and he was looking like, if you get this wrong. But she was quick with it. No, I keep everything right here or right here. Soon after that, it was all over. She had a lot of stuff that she was hiding. And I challenge like anybody to say that you would be able to go through the abuse that she went through. And this is something that she is going to be going through for the rest of her life. She has attempted to take her life. It is just the facts. She attempted to take her life, and Alex had to stop her. She was going to walk out in traffic, and Alex had to stop her. So it's something that she's battling. She's going to continue to battle. And I just, implore anybody, that's, seeing this case. And in a lot of instances, a lot of people went from, poor Cassie to, she was a monster. She wanted it. She did, she that. I wonder if you're on payroll. That's all I'm going to say. Because you went from being understanding to like just, and like I said, some of us, some people's facade, your mask has slipped. I'm not going to even say your mask is slipping. No, your mask has slipped. And you definitely are showing your true colors and who you are. And like, when you're on YouTube, everybody's opinion is their opinion, right? Whatever. But when you put yourself out here and you're presenting yourself one way, and then something comes out like this, you can't stop making videos about it and speaking negatively about Cassie the way you are, not just on YouTube, through Twitter. And I see it, man. Am I kind of disappointed? Not really, because I really stopped going over there anyway. I stopped watching. I stopped attending a long time ago, because it was just something that just didn't fit right, like in my spirit when it came to this content creator. And I kind of like picked up on it. And that comes from me working for like 7.5 years as a correction officer. Like I said, I need to know 48 to 96 personalities all at one time. You better know which inmate's going to, walk up to somebody and crack them with a tray, or which inmates somebody's taking their food, or which inmates have a quick temper, or, you need to know how to handle each inmate because they are each individuals. They are all individual. So they all have their own individual personality, and you need to know who is who. So, you can prevent a lot of things from happening, especially you have somebody, that's quiet, that sits in the area, and you have people that come in to bully, and, I would pull them like, listen, you might want to back off, because I don't feel like writing no blue sheets. I don't feel like cuffing nobody. I don't feel like peeling nobody off of you. That inmate may be quiet, but she's no joke. So you might want to tread lightly and go a different route. I don't know what you're trying to prove in here, but I'm just pulling you to the side because I see what's going on and I see where this is going to go. You're not going to win. Some people don't believe you. Ciao. Give y'all this one story and I'm about to get out of here. So just what I just said, I told, this inmate, you might want to mind your business. You might want to leave that girl alone. She quiet. She walk around here like she lose a little bit. She look like she don't bother nobody because she doesn't. But it's not her first time here. We already know what we're working with. And as long as nobody bothers her, she's going to be fine. But you bother her, it's going to take us a minute to get her under control. And basically what I'm going to tell you right now is before it happened, I'm not trying to break up no fight with her when she's going at it without my backup in here. So I'm telling you, tread lightly. This inmate decides you want to keep pushing the buttons, pushing this girl buttons. When I'm not around, when officers there that condone that type of, behavior and all of that, you want to push buttons. You don't push this girl button. Trays up. My partner went 96 inmates. My partner went to break. So happened trays came up. I turned around to write in the book, and all I heard was and I saw blood splatter go right past me this way. Missed me, but turn around. I told the cold blue. I told you, but nobody had to peel the girl off her because she cracked her with the tray, cracked her head right down the middle. She was just standing there like, you gonna cuff me? I told y'all to leave this girl alone. You don't listen. So I am just, I can read people. And so, yeah, like I'll go and see how things is going. And, I like, we can have like a dialogue where we can agree to disagree. There's nothing wrong with that. A lot of people are not going to agree with, a person's views, but it's how you say it and how you interact with the people in the chat. I'm all about respect over here. That's just that. If I go somewhere and I see that you are, basically you have people doing dirty work for you, I sense it. I'm not with it anyway. So, I'm not going back over there because that was a lot. And then, to just see you all across these social media sites right about now, from YouTube to Twitter, it's very off-putting. And I just said, you know what? You was thinking right. And it's just crazy how you can always be talking about your wife and this and your wife and respect and women and this and your wife and respect. Okay. I mean, your opinion is your opinion. I'm just saying. Somebody that said they respect women, at the end of the day, Cassie could never beat Diddy. women are not stronger than men are physically. She could never win in a fight over anybody else. But not just her. What about all the other women that he put his hands on? So every single person that has stepped forward and said, I witnessed it, but he hit me too, which is almost all of his female assistants. Some of the men got touched too. So you're going to just say that, just overlook all of that. That didn't happen either. So everybody's lying. The chef is lying. Mia's lying. Capricorn Clark is lying. Everybody's just lying on this man. And from what I understand, him and his son, they don't even have the relationship that everybody thinks that they have. And that is not Justin, Christian. So they, people were saying a lot. People saying under the video, and I think Gene Deal said it too. Like him and Christian don't even get along like that. And I can tell, you can see that because Puffy is somebody that needs the spotlight. It's not about you. It's about me. Or I'm going to put my son on, but I got to be in the video. I got to be rapping on the record. If you go back and listen to, and I saw it the other day and I was like, well, this is really, really dope. So it was, first of all, I didn't know Justin could dance the way he could dance. Justin can cut a rug now. Justin, Christian, and a bunch of other young, I don't know who the young gentlemen were, but they made this video. When I tell you, they were rapping like the old rappers back in the day. And what beat did they rap over? It was a song from back in the day. And I was like, wow, like this should have got way more play than it did. It was like, it just brought me back. And I was like, wow, this would have really been dope. Like, why didn't he promote this? I've never seen Diddy promoting this. Like, it was crazy. Like, all of those kids were talented. There was no mumble rap going on, and they rapped over old school beat. I'm forgetting right now which one it is. I probably could go to my history and find it, because I was just like, wait a minute, hold on. They really are doing it. Like, of course I can't play it, but I can definitely tell you if I could find it in my history. I want to say it was maybe like a couple of weeks ago. I looked at it and I was like, oh wow, they are talented. Like, why wasn't this pushed? Yeah, this is something I see. Tisa Tell say something about some 60K. Team gifted over 60K to content creators. Twasn't me. Twasn't me. I don't want no parts of that. None at all. Let me see if I can go back and find it. Yeah. Anybody ever watch the guy that goes to the grave and talks to people through the spirit box? Oh, that creeped me out so bad. Yeah, for always, I'm sure you probably know exactly all up in the video. Sure, said it all up in the video. I'm trying to find this video because I'm just like, why didn't he push this? Would have been like, this would have just been all right. Oh no, so it's not that one. I'm almost there because that was Love Come Down. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm like, oh wow, boy, I think I found it, but no, it's not it. And it gotta be right under that, because I was like, Oh wow, like, and so when somebody said like he was jealous of his sons, I said I think that's far fetched, but looking, and I don't know if y'all missed that short where I put up, yeah, they should be. I don't know, they should be further along in the coverage, but I don't know if y'all watched that short I put up about, I told y'all to go, or it was on Piers Morgan's channel. Now, I don't normally watch him, but I watch him because of the video. But what is his big homie? Big homie had he confirmed that Ray J and Diddy was, yeah. I was like, did he really just say that? He done left the country and said it, but he said it. And I just was like, whoa. He really came out and said that. And he did. Oh my gosh, I thought it would be. Oh yeah, so it gotta be under here, yes. Yeah. Oh wow, I thought it was. I wanted to I thought it was before that. It's just that the song was so. It was such a. Oh wait a minute. Is this it? I think this is it right here. Hold on, let me see. I'm gonna just put the. Yeah, I think this is it. I'm gonna just put the link in the chat though, because I can't play it on here. Yeah. It's the paid in full beat. I'm gonna put the link right here in the chat, and y'all can look at it. And we'll discuss it. I just think that this was so dope, and I just don't understand why stuff like this. Yeah, big homie CC, he sure enough did say it. I said, oh wow, okay. Well, come on out with it then, Cletus. So that is the link right there to the video that I'm talking about. It is a 6 minute. The video is 6 minutes. And when I tell you 6 minutes of just pure, just rapping, old school, the video is dope. I just don't understand. Now, that video was showed on World Star Hip Hop. And so I just don't understand why it wasn't pushed more, because it has that old school flavor. They are rapping for real, very talented. And there is no mumbling, none of that. And I just think I'm just confused as to why, this stuff wasn't pushed. So now you got him out here with the 7-song CD, and which is a mess, knowing that he got charges that are pending. Christian. And if anything, your father should have been telling you, you know, to kind of step back a little bit, because you're under a microscope. And the fact that the charges that you have with you, they can kind of weave Diddy into these charges as well. He was the one that rented the yacht. He was on the yacht when this happened. So I think he tried to get it thrown out, that case, and they said that it was denied. Because that girl didn't come on a trip with them. She actually was one of the yacht workers. So, you know, instead of, you know, encouraging them to, like, you know, step back, take some time. You don't need to be here all the time. And Christian wasn't there every day, but he was there most of the time. Knowing what's hanging over his head. If it could be avoided at all, I don't think so. But still, I think that, you know, taking a back seat would have been a great thing for him to do. And now you out on camera all over everybody's social media with the music blasting, dancing, doing push-ups, all types of silly behind stuff that might not only come back to bite your father, but, you know, maybe something that somebody else, another judge, may look at when it comes to your case. So that's all I'm saying. I think that, you know, and people are like, why you feel sorry for them? They're rich. That don't have anything to do. It does not have anything to do with the fact that this is learned behavior by them. And, you know, and the twins and Chance, they don't have anything to do with this. And all I'm going to say to Quincy is, go home. Your father said the door's open. You know, we don't know whether or not I'll be sure it was some type of deadbeat, or it was something where he wasn't allowed in this boy's life, which I am going to go with the latter. So that's that. So I put the link down in the video, in the comments. So I'm going to get ready to get out of here, because I have an early start tomorrow. I got nothing done that I was supposed to get done tonight. So I'm going to head out of here, but I do always end the show the same way, by bringing awareness that men get breast cancer too. Because of the stigma surrounding the word breast, we have changed the word to chest and or pec cancer over here on the Survivor Speaks channel. So let's continue to bring awareness that men get breast cancer too. And to all of my ladies, please make sure you're getting your mammograms, filling on your boobies to make sure that you are all right. All right. And don't you dare let anyone come into your house and disturb the peace that passes all understanding. I am Survivor Speaks, and I will see you guys in the next live, or I'll upload a video maybe. Follow me on Survivor Speaks 2.0. I am, going to be having some great things to come, on that channel over there. So I'll see you guys in. Peace out. And I don't know. I guess I'll go out with this one. All right. Oh, it's not going. I guess it does not want me to end. What is going on? My computer, let me tell you, I guess I just gonna have to end it because it's not clicking on what I want to click on. So, see you.
Stories that heal, yeah, we dive in deep. This is the space where the survivors speak. Ooh, turn it up, feel the glow. Survivor speaks, now you know. From pain to power, we grew like the voices flow.